Hello and good afternoon to one and all present here. The excitement levels continue to rise as we step into the second day of Devspace 2022, which will kick off with an exciting keynote and case study. So make sure you tune with us till the end. This keynote is brought to you by none other than our title sponsors, Experion Technologies. Their sports analytics track at the hackathon have must caught your eye. And now it's your opportunity to directly interact with them and learn from the brains behind this huge IT solutions and services company. Hi, my name is Shubhi Shamsukha, and on behalf of the Computer Society of India (VIT), Vellore, it is my pleasure to announce and introduce and welcome Mr. Sreekumar Pillai, who will be sharing his journey with engineering services and shining some light on the future careers in product engineering. Mr. Pillai, over to you. Sreekumar Pillai is the CTO and head of digital transformation services at Experion Technologies. With over 25 years of experience in technology, management, and execution roles in various leading organizations, Sir has architected and deployed several successful software solutions. He also plays a major role in strategizing the technical direction of the company to focus on niche market segments by conceptualizing, elaborating, and realizing product ideas for clients all over the world. Mr. Pillai takes special interest in exploring emerging technologies, along with having hands on experience in architecting, designing, and implementing softwares. An alumnus of BITS Pilani, Sri Kumar Pillai, in his leisure time, finds bliss in listening to classical music. He is also a health enthusiast and a regular face at many marathons. Mr. Pillai, over to you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks, Shubhi, for that introduction. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, again, once again, my name is Sreekumar, CTO of the Experion Technologies. Really excited to be a part of this event today. My colleague Balu will be demonstrating a real world example of how AI and machine learning is helping in optimizing the road traffic and improving the road safety. Before that, I would like to share some of my views on the foreseeable future of digital products, software engineering career in general, and discuss a bit on role of emerging technologies like AI and machine learning in future IT jobs. Let me straight away dive into the topic. Um, it's a fact that digital initiatives have picked up momentum across industries. We are hearing the term digital transformation quite frequently, or I would call that as one of the most popular buzzwords in the industry right now. Businesses are trying to reach their customers in all possible ways you can imagine, and it was accelerated by the ongoing pandemic for last 2 years. Even businesses which we thought never will be digitalized has gone through that transformation. We are talking about taking everything online, right? We order online our food, grocery delivered at our doorsteps. We know that even medical consultations happen online. And how many of us have really visited a bank branch or even to an ATM in the recent times? If you look at the India specifically, we have taken steps for transforming our digital payment systems even before the pandemic, and we have seen the advantages already. It is a fact that and many of us carry very little cash in our wallet, right? We prefer a digital transaction. A lot of shops, even smaller shops around our home, supports payment in different digital forms. Now, if you look at the pandemic time, we did homeschooling for 2 years. We worked from home, and many more examples, right? Where the businesses, industries are going digital. So, where exactly the industry is heading? it is interesting to look at what is happening in industry right now. Now, we have realized that business transformation via digital channels is key to the success of a business. Now, we can't really just rely on the traditional model for running a business anymore. I think we have realized that in the last 2 years. The industry require more and more digital solutions, which would help businesses to find their customers, sell their products and then services, and provide after sales service. Now, what does that mean for a software engineer, or for that matter anyone in the industry? We know that there is a rapid growth of artificial intelligence across industries, and it is getting more and more versatile and smarter by the day. People are getting worried about their jobs being replaced with AI based systems. A recent study conducted in United States, they said nearly 50% of the jobs are likely to be automated by 2030. Yeah, you heard that right. Half of their jobs. Now it is happening to everyone at different roles, whether it is medical professionals like surgeons or physicians, teachers, pilots, drivers, and software jobs are not an exception, right? So if you are a software engineer, should you fear the AI system would eventually take over your job? In my view, AI taking over all our jobs is far from reality, at least for now. I see it as an assistive technology which will reduce the time spent on manual work. AI could assist medical professionals to make more accurate diagnosis. It could be used in fraud detections. It could be used in traffic cameras to intelligently detect traffic violations. And AI used in conducting online examinations to see whether the candidate is cheating. So you can see so many examples where machine intelligence can supplement human intelligence. So that's what I think. At least for the several years, the last few years, we have seen that AI has emerged. There are different platforms, there are different tools which you can leverage to write your own solutions. It will continue. All the major platform providers are enabling AI based systems in their platform. So for developers, software developers, it is providing an opportunity to build high end applications while you can leverage all the existing reusable things or platforms which is created by the platform providers. Now, what does that mean being a developer, right? The question you need to ask yourself is whether you would like to restrict yourself to just programming, right? When you are undergoing your graduation, at some point of time, you will probably learn different programming languages, and you are currently doing a hackathon. So it's all focused on solving a problem, but the primary tool we use is the programming, right? Is coding is what industry is looking for? Probably not, right? Because that alone wouldn't help. But you should be wondering about what are the other skills which you need to develop apart from your programming skills. So what are the different skills other than coding skills? I would say it could be anything. You never know how the dots are connected. But if I had to name a few, then I would say it could be something related to design thinking in designing systems, data and analytics. A lot of you might be doing some specialization in data science. Customer facing skills, it's not a technical skill, but how do you handle your customers? How do you understand their business problems? Selling skills or fundamentals of finance. A lot of the system involves payment systems and different financial standards. So understanding fundamentals of finance is important. And being creative in solving problems, having that critical mindset in solving problems, and then innovating business models. So it is much more than a programming job what industry demands now. So let's look at some of those skills. We can't really cover extensively, but we'll look at some of the skills what industry is looking for. So we are a product engineering service company, Experion, we develop products for our customers. While we own a couple of our products, we specialize in creating intellectual property and products for our customers. If you look at the traditional software industry, it has been revolving around providing large scale implementation projects for ERP systems, CRM systems, and various other systems a business would require. What we see right now is it is shifting towards creating solutions which are more seen as a product from all stakeholders of business, whether it is the customers of that business, partners, or internal staff, whoever it is. All the stakeholders require solutions which is tailor made to their requirement. So, if you want to equip yourself for this, you need to develop a product engineering mindset and understand that programming is just one of the component in a product development journey. So programming is, again, just remember that it is just one of the ingredients to build the entire product. The critical difference between a software engineer and a product engineer is that a product engineer not only code, but always curious to understand the end user's pain points, their perspective, and they try to figure out what features or functionalities could make their creation more useful to various user groups, and what is available in the market today, and how do we develop something which will deliver maximum value to the impacted users. So with a product mindset, what we focus on is customer. That is important. It's not about the technology stack use, it's not about the platform use. What we focus is the end user. Each increment of the software should deliver business value, and continuous delivery is essential in ensuring that users are getting usable versions of the software in each release and able to provide their feedback. And it is important that a product team work as a well-oiled machine, developing collective understanding of the product rather than working in different silos. And how do we do that? The development has to be very agile. Agility is very key in product development. Those days are over when we spend upfront investment on developing a detailed functional specification. At least I can say that when I started my career, we used to create a software requirement specification, hundreds of pages, or functional requirement specifications. Only then you start architecting it, designing it, and then start writing the code. You don't talk, and nobody in the industry now talks about waterfall model, but we are talking about developing software in a very rapid pace with quick iterations, incorporating user feedbacks through the entire development process. Another important fact is the ambiguity itself. Like the problem when it is specified, sometimes even you don't have a clear understanding of the problem. But a software engineer need to work harder to develop a deeper understanding of the problem, the market, and the business model, which requires very innovative, agile ways of working. And you need to be comfortable working with ambiguities. That's the point I'm trying to make. And as a software engineer, you can't really assume all the requirements are clear and it is given on a plate to you. You can't really expect it. Sometimes even the customer themselves doesn't understand what they are trying to build. Only in the process of building the product, they realize, okay, this is what they wanted to build. So you need to understand their business problem, translate that into a software requirement, and then build it. So I mentioned about design thinking. So apart from your agility, the agile way of doing things, the product mindset, and working with ambiguities, you also need to think about the people who are going to use the system. So we are living in an era where people who work on product development are not domain experts. For example, let's say you are a software engineer, but you are building an application for a medical equipment. You are a software engineer, but you are creating a solution for an insurance industry. You don't have any domain knowledge. You are not a doctor. You are not a medical professional. You are not an insurance a domain expert. How is that possible? How do you build applications? So this is what a design thinking approach would help you to do. It is an iterative process where you seek to understand the users, challenge the assumptions, and then redefine problems and create solutions which you can prototype, test, get the feedback, build it again. So a design thinking approach is very important in building product. This is again very different from the traditional way of building software, where you will be implementing an existing product. Just like I mentioned earlier, an ERP solution or a CRM system. This is very different because we are building something from scratch. All you have is the whiteboard and the set of people discussing, ideating, and then prototyping, coming with something, right? So it's like a hackathon where you have an idea and then build something, and later you find that there are a lot of features you can build which will add you to the end user and keep building it. So design thinking is an important approach which you need to master. So it's very interesting what companies look for. Product engineering companies like Experion, we don't necessarily look for certificates. We don't just look at your degree, certificate, and what education you had. We look for innate curiosity. We look for the ability to learn and adapt, and apply your skills in meaningful ways. And how do you do that? You look at your projects, what projects you have done during your college, what internships you have taken, any articles or white papers you have published, and your ideas and the participation in hackathons like this. That is where we spot the winners. So, in summary, as an aspiring software engineer, you should be looking at acquiring other skills which is beyond coding. While your programming skills play an important role in shaping up your work life, supplementing it with additional skills will improve your chances of building an interesting and satisfying career. So, the whole point I'm trying to make is events like this, the participation in events like a hackathon or a lot of other things which I just mentioned earlier, is important in addition to the programming skills which you are trying to develop. Thank you very much for listening to me. Wishing you all an exciting event. And once again, thank you for giving us an opportunity to do this session, and have a great day ahead. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for this engrossing and insightful keynote, Mr. Pillai. I am sure the participants have developed a better understanding of the evolving product and engineering field. We will now be taking questions but, uh, from our attendees. Grab this chance to have your queries answered by Sir in by putting them in the live section right now. Are there any questions? So Arjun Khanna asked, uh, "Sir, do you think that automatic will enable people to be more creative? Automation will enable people to be more creative."
Yeah, that's a good question. So, what could automation do is, I mentioned about it. It can, when you bring in automation, it will reduce the manual work, right? Something which you have been spending hours could be automated. For example, let's say a traffic camera. Let's say you have a very basic camera which will stream all the traffic information to a traffic control room, and somebody sitting there going through all the videos to find out violations, right? It's a very manual work. What if we are able to automate it and identify potential candidates of violation, and then somebody only need to look at those candidate clips to see the violations, rather than going through the entire set of cameras which probably coming from the whole city, right? So the automation can significantly reduce the manual work, and when you have additional time, definitely that can be used for creative. So the human creativity can be used when your manual work is reduced. So to answer the question, yes, If automation is brought in, it can significantly improve the creative time humans can use.
Also, sir, to follow up, Yash Srivastav has asked, why do you think creative fields will be affected by automation?
Can you ask that question again? Why do you think?
Why do you think creative fields will be affected by automation?
I think it is the same answer, because whether it is an AI-based automation or robot-based automation, um, bringing down the mundane work can give more space to the people working in a domain, and then they can use those time creatively.
Do we have any other questions? We'll just wait for a couple of other minutes, I'm guessing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes. Also, sir, something outside the technical field. What do you actually do? How was your lockdown? What do you do at home? Like, how does your day go?
Yeah, I mean, at least at Experion, we moved into work from home mode very quickly, because even before the pandemic started, the lockdown started, we were all working with laptops. All our employees had laptops, so we never had to move any desktop to home. So we were blessed with that. So we could get started from home very quick. And the last 2 years, we are still not back to office yet. Probably it will happen in the next couple of months. But last 2 years, we have been working from home. We could deliver, we could make sure that all our customer projects are running on time. All the delivery commitments were met. Of course, we had to innovate in terms of our communication methods. How do we reach out to everyone? We had conducted our all events, even all the festival events, all the rewards and recognition ceremony. A lot of internal events which we used to conduct in face to face have moved virtual. So it was an interesting experience. It was also a great learning over the last couple of years. How do we really move into a virtual platform and then start interacting and then work as a team to deliver solutions to our customers?
Hello. Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So another question: if automation was to take over most jobs, what new careers could be made through automation?
So I again said automation cannot take the entire set of jobs. It can bring down the manual effort significantly. A lot of things which is repetitive, and the advantage of automation is not to just reduce the manual effort. It can also do things in a correct way. For example, somebody manually checking a lot of records for proofreading it. If an automated system can find those errors using an AI system or using a machine learning based system, it can work better than humans. So each industry has to figure out how do they deploy their manpower or human power when an AI based system or an automated system significantly reduce the time required to perform certain tasks. But professions like medical, like healthcare, um, it may not be like cutting down the jobs of doctors. I don't think so, because no system. I don't think our systems will be matured in that way. But it can assist them, right? For example, somebody looking at a radiology image, a CT scan or MRI scan, a radiologist looking at the image and then diagnose a particular tumor or something from that. That can be assisted by an AI based system, but final decision has to be made by a qualified doctor, right? So it becomes an assistive technology, and there is no single solution for all the industry. Each industry need to adopt the automation or AI based systems the way they need to, because the whole target is to run the business more efficiently, give more value to the clients, reduce errors, improves the efficiency of the business. So each industry, whether it is let's say aviation, whether it is retail or healthcare, insurance, banking, each of those industries will adopt AI to simplify some of their existing high volume tasks. That is probably the best way to get started. And soon after, they will find more avenues where they can implement automation. So it will take a time. A lot of AI projects are still in proof of concept stages. It's not
Mhm.
a full-fledged system. So over the next few years, you will see significant adoption, and there are more requirements for professionals with experience in these areas. So the demand will increase, but all these industries will be more interested in implementing proof of concept solutions and then moving that into a real production-based solution in the future. So there is a lot of scope, but it is going to continue, and each industry will respond in a different way. That's what I feel.
I absolutely agree, sir. There does become the differentiating factor at the end. So, another question, is it better to learn to use different tech stacks and libraries to gain expertise in the same domain, or to spend time to learn about different domains?
So when you say domain, it is a little different. In our terms, a domain is an industry. So let's say retail is an industry, healthcare is an industry, or insurance is a domain, or we call banking finance systems BFSI. It is a domain. But at least early in your career, what you need to focus is to improve your skills in the technology side itself. So what we are talking about, the current industry practice is to have full stack developers. If you are pursuing a programming career, that means you are responsible for building the backend part, the server part of the software, as well as the front end part. Earlier it used to be different, and even that practice is still there, having backend specialization and front end specialization. But a lot of um, companies, especially startups and even larger organizations, are now adopting a model where individual developers own a feature, a total requirement. So in my talk, I mentioned about having that collective understanding of the requirements rather than somebody elaborating the requirements, writing everything, and then giving it to you. That won't happen. So you need to understand the business requirement, translate that into a software requirement, design the database for it, develop the APIs in the backend, deploy that in the cloud platform, and then write the front end application to access the information or submit information to the backend system. So when you do that, you can call yourself as a full stack developer. So that is what the industry demands now. So when you learn programming, this is an important aspect. Focus on both front end and back end
Mhm.
technologies.
True, sir, that completely makes sense. We've been focusing on that as well in the last years. So, sir, another question, do you think jobs like UI UX become more relevant as automation gets more widespread?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that is another thing. So one of the slides have shown that UX is a part of the entire product engineering, right?
Mhm.
So when you look at current day applications, user experience play a key. I mean, it is a key role. The reason is, if you look at the last several years, people are so used to working with consumer applications. You use Facebook, Twitter, you use Netflix, you use, I mean, you name anything, or for your you use Uber, Swiggy, Zomato. So there's hundreds of applications, right? So what is happening right now is, if you look at enterprise, let's say you look at a banking company, right? And now banking company has to create a banking application. Now the end users would expect the similar experience of let's say Uber or Swiggy on a banking application. So if you just let a technical developer to create your banking application, it may not have the best experience. So there is a lot of requirements in having the right skill sets for designing good user experience. Because again, if you look at the design thinking approach, the idea is to create something which is usable by the end user. It's not like software engineer is creating some application and then forcing a user to use that application. No, the users will reject those applications. They have to be part of the process. So the entire user experience journey, like identifying the right personas, identifying what functions they require, building paper prototypes, wireframes, translating that into high fidelity prototypes, and then converting that into the actual designs and then implement it. So that is a key function in a product development journey. So UX plays an important role, and the industry has a lot of requirements in that space.
So that was it. I'm guessing it was a great session with you, sir. We'd like to have you back anytime soon. And that marks the end of the question and answer session. If you still have questions, leave them in the chat box below. We have another speaker come on board, and then he'll also be guiding us. Thank you so much, sir, for being so responsive with everything, sir. It's been
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Um, and now for a glimpse And now, for a glimpse into how a product can help people in real life, we have an introduction to smart mobility. A smart mobility solution uses object identification from road cameras and sends the data to provide traffic situational awareness. It employs real time communication technology to notify vehicle drivers about vulnerable road users and hence improving road safety. Green light optimized speed advisory is a traffic optimization product that aims to increase the user experience and overall road safety by proposing the best speed at which the motorist should drive to achieve the signal in green conditions. When approaching an intersection, this reduces the number of accelerations and decelerations. We are privileged to have Mr. Balu Regunathan provide a case study on the same subject. Mr. Regunathan works at the Experion Technologies as a technical consultant. He has substantial multinational experience in all parts of software development cycle with over 13 years of extensive hands-on experience in solution architecture in mobile, web, and desktop applications, as well as domain expertise in transportation, road safety, finance, and healthcare. Over to you, sir. Uh,
Is my screen visible?
yes, sir.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Balu, and I am working as an technical consultant in Experion. I have around 13 years of experience in mostly in technical side. Today, I will take you through some of the projects or the work that we were doing in the smart mobility space. So I will directly go into what we or about the client. Like our client is actually a global technology group providing product and solution in the photonic market. They actually make the speed violation cameras. So they have their traffic solutions implemented in various parts of the world. So their business, like one of their business, is basically high speed cameras in the in the expressways. So they find violations, and then basically you will get fines or tickets based on the high speed cameras that have set. And what they right now, it's just a camera. They take the picture, analyze the speed, and will have the fine. So right now, with the evolution of ITS, or the intelligent transportation system, what they're trying to do is like, in addition to the camera that they have, they are actually trying to build a smart uh, infrastructure within their camera, so that more information can be passed on to the driver. Suppose there is an roadblock, say a kilometer ahead, or if there is some kind of a breakdown, if there is a road work going on, or if if there's a presence of a pedestrian in the road, they want to alert the user about these infrastructure situation to the road users. So they are trying to build more, add on more smart capabilities into their product. So what we have done over here is basically we created a product which will take the image from the camera. So we analyze each frame, extract the objects, and if there is any pedestrian within the road infrastructure, like within the road lanes or something, then we extract it. We send that information to the RSU. RSU is something called roadside unit, which will be mounted in a column in the road. And then from the RSU, that information will be passed to an OBU. OBU stands for onboard unit. And so like OBU will be mounted inside a car. So when a driver is driving his car along a road, and whenever there is a blind spot or something, and whenever a pedestrian is crossing a road, he will be alerted about the presence of the road users in the road so that he can take necessary action. So along with the connected camera that along with the camera that already have, they are trying to build more smart features into it. So we were working with them to create one use case for them, so which is situational awareness, so sending information about the vulnerable road users to the drivers. On a high level, we have 4-5 components in our product. Like the first one is it's a live camera, so we will have to extract each frame, take each frame, extract the objects in frames. Object in the sense there could be like in the road there could be vehicles, there could be passengers, there could be pedestrians going, there could be cyclists. So all the informations will be extracted real time, and then this information will be pushed into a queue service that we have developed. And then we have a processor which processes these received objects and see whether this particular user is vulnerable. And if he is vulnerable, and then that particular road user information will be sent to the relevant RSU. Like if we are considering a large city, there will be it covers like at least 30-40 kilometers, but the presence of the road will be in a particular location. So we will send that information to the relevant RSU, and from the RSU, we will send that message to the OBU. Like RSU is again roadside unit, and OBU stands for onboard unit. So RSU will be in the road, it will be in the column, and OBU will be inside a vehicle. So how this communication happens is, again, there are standard messaging formats to send messages in the ITS industry. So it's called DENUM or CPM. DENUM stands for Decentralized Environmental Notification Message, and CPM stands for Collective Perception Message. So when we started this product, we went for DENUM. Later, we moved into CPM. DENUM, it's basically used for sending the situation to the road user. Suppose there is a roadwork going on, or suppose there is an accident, so there will be roadblock for 1 hour. So Denim is used when the situation remains same for say for an hour or something. Then we use Denim. Like if the situation changes every seconds or every minute, we use CPM. CPM stands for Collective Perception Message. So we can have the entire scene being sent to the car using the CPM messages. And the communication protocol that we use is like from the object processor to the RSU. We use the UDP. And from RSU, it's a wireless broadcast. So we just broadcast a message, and any car that is driving nearby the RSU will receive the message. And we can go to the next level of informing the driver either in the OBD or in the display within the driver, or we could connect voice devices, etc., to the OBU, and like alert the driver of on the pedestrian presence. Again, we have all the data, all the feeds being captured, stored as in a data warehouse, which can be used for future modeling, analytics, etc. Just a quick mock presentation on how it works. So basically, we will have a camera. This will be mounted in an entire road network, and this camera will detect the presence of pedestrian. And when it detects a pedestrian, this will be sent via internet to a cloud. In the cloud, we process it, identifies the vulnerability, and sends the data back to the RSU. RSU will be again mounted on the column, and from the RSU, it will be a broadcast. So the RSU will broadcast the messages like via the wireless to all the vehicles nearby. So the vehicles can receive the messages, and then like basically the driver will be alerted on the presence of pedestrian. So this RSU has a range of it's DSRC communication, so it will have, and it has a range of approximately 1 kilometer. But in practical scenarios, like there will be a lot of disturbance in the road, right? Like buildings, trees, etc. So we have tested up to 300 meters. So, like once the pedestrian detection is gone, then that particular message will be like we will keep on sending the message till the vulnerability is present in the road. So this will be more useful. Imagine a situation where the pedestrian is in a blind spot where the driver is not able to see it. So this will be more useful in such a scenario. This is just one use case. There can be hundreds of use cases that can be built into this particular product. Just a functional flow. There will be camera. Then we will have an object detection software which extracts a frame, identifies the objects on a real time, send into a queue. Then we will have a listener, like which process the queue. This will be in a different format, so we convert to the format which RSU understands. And from the RSU, the data is being sent to OBU. OBU will be mounted inside a vehicle, and there we can have the either displayed inside the vehicle display itself, or we can mount voice devices, etc., to the OBU, and then inform the driver about the presence of pedestrians. Again, it improves overall road safety, and also it gives the driver the picture of what is happening ahead. Quick technology stack. There are a lot of technologies involved. Like we use Coda for the RSU and OBU runs in Coda firmware. So we use Coda, and Mapbox we have used for detecting the pedestrians. Then we have used like all the programming within the SDK within the Coda is written in C. Then we have Python for as listeners. Then we have OpenCV, FastML. Like there are a lot of technologies used, and it's deployed in AWS. Going into the next one, it's again smart mobility or traffic optimization. We are working in a product which manages the traffic signals, like based on the traffic volume. We work in a product which manages the traffic signal. So it detects the number of vehicles in the road. So based on the vehicle density, it manages the traffic signal. So if there is no vehicle in a particular lane, then that particular lane will move into red, and the lane with more traffic will move into green light. So this is just an what we have developed over here is, since we have the traffic signal information with us, and if we are able to pass this information to the nearby vehicle, then we could actually advise them the speed at which they should be driving the vehicle, so that they don't need to wait at a red signal for a long interval of time. So what we have done is, again, I'll go into the diagram. Again, we have the signal plans with us, which is exposed via an open API. Like, so anyone can subscribe to the API. So we have developed an there is the RSU can consume the open API. Then RSU will send messages. I said 1 kilometer. So RSU will send message to the vehicles nearby, telling the speed at which you should be driving, so that you either you can pass the green signal, so that you don't need to wait, or if it is a red signal, it will ask us to drive slowly, so that you don't need to accelerate and decelerate too often. So again, it's live signal. We will have an open API. So since it's an open API, it can be consumed by any application. If you have an Android if you write an Android application, you can consume the Android application, get the live location, and see at what speed you can drive. This is again a sample of what is happening. See, we are driving through. This is actually a live example in one of the roads in Europe. So when you're driving through the roads,
connected traffic lights,
So you can see when I reached a particular point, the system detects the RSU. So it is giving me an information like there is a traffic connected, there's a traffic light 1 kilometer ahead, and it will give me the information at what speed I need to drive. You can see over here, like right now, if my speed is 45 miles, if I'm driving at 56 miles per hour, I could pass on, like I could, I don't need to wait in the traffic signal. I can easily go through. So again, this shows the, I don't know if it's clear or not. This shows the traffic signal timing. So there, like it's 4 seconds left. Okay. Again, the purpose of or what this can achieve is basically it can reduce the fuel consumption, like because we can drive smoothly and we can avoid sudden acceleration or deceleration, seeing the traffic signals. Then this can improve the traffic flow. And again, there are a lot of technologies being used. Some of the backends are written in C. We have C++. We have a front-end application for it, which is written in TypeScript. Some of the backend is written in C#, PowerShell for deployment activities. Then it's in cloud deployment and Kubernetes architecture used for deployment. That's it from my side.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a great session. So now the floor is open for all the questions that you have. If you have any queries about the case study that Mr. Balu took us through, feel free to ask them in the chat section right now. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes for the questions.
Sure.
So how are you, sir? Everything. So Mohan Mukherjee asked, this would be a very difficult task, heavy task that needs to be done quickly based on traffic, right? How does the system optimize the task of detection and communication?
This has to like detecting the vehicle or detecting the pedestrian and sending the information via different channel, and that it has to reach the driver in less than a second. Like if there is a latency or anything, then the entire system will not work. The only solution is like we will have to optimize it as fast as possible, and like we are using fast MOT, Yola, etc. for the detection, and for the communication, etc. We have different units. If it is a large area, we centralize it and we combine a few units into a single station and then manage it. As of now, we are able to manage like 30 milliseconds. We are able to achieve that rate, but there is no easy answer. It has to be pretty optimized. Basically, we are using GPUs for there are like we combine a couple of cameras, then use each GPU for processing those cameras, the object detection, etc.
Yes, that makes sense.
It has to be scalable also. Like we have the auto scale implement. Like if the number of vehicles increase and the number of communication has to increase, the system within the network, within our process, it's just scale up and scale down based on the load, etc. On the first try, it was more than 5 seconds, 5 to 6 seconds. So it just gradually gets optimized. And
Makes sense. Um,
if you are asking about hardware devices, it was Jetson Jetson processor in the processing side. Also, we have GP processors.
So another question, will this become easier if cars can interact with each other using an IoT solution?
Yeah, I talked about OBU. OBU is onboard unit, which is inside the car itself. So within the V2X, there are actually different type of V2X interaction. There is V2V, which means like one car can interact with the other car. So when we send up information of a pedestrian to one car, the OBU can actually transmit that messages to the nearby car. So it will be like a chain. RSU will send to which is the nearest OBU. That OBU can actually send to the nearby cars. So it's called V2V. That's actually possible. V2V can work in different ways. For example, it actually comes in some of the cars. For example, Volkswagen Golf has that feature. For example, like if an ambulance is coming in your way, the presence of ambulance can be sent to one car, which can be passed on to the nearby car. So it's actually possible, and it's being worked on. And it will be a wireless communication also. It will be wireless communication between cars.
So yes, sir, that was it on our side. We're very, very grateful to have you helping our participants and to give them a snippet of the industry. It was a pleasure to have you, sir, on board. And thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Vikram, and all the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to the wonderful audience for your questions, and we hope you have been inspired by our speakers today. Make sure to follow us on at CSI-VITU on Instagram and Twitter to stay updated with the exciting events that we have in store for you. We would also like to thank you all. We would like to thank you all for your exuberant participation and hope you had a fun day. Have a great day and happy hacking.